Imagine this. You're invited to a family dinner, and the amount of food there is outstanding. You're amazed. There's some mashed potatoes over here, some gravy over there, some corn in the middle, along with some ham. And so you decide, hey, let's make the most of it and pile my plate up high. And so you do. Though upon later realization, you take notice that you've only eaten a third of your food, it seems like. A very small amount. Why is that? Well, what if I told you that the utensil, the fork, can actually determine, the size of it can actually determine how much of the plate you eat? A study conducted by the University of Utah in Salt Lake City has determined that answer, that yes, it can. And the experiment in question was also conducted with the help of an Italian restaurant. There, they gave some patrons a fork 20% smaller than the original fork at the restaurant. And then they gave the other portion of patrons a fork 20% larger than the original fork at the restaurant. Upon analyzing and collecting the data, they came to the conclusion that people eating with a larger fork don't tend to eat all of their food. Why is that? Well, they explained it like this. They said that diners focus on the visual cue of whether they are making a dent in the amount of food on their plates. The smaller the fork is, the less of a dent they're making in the plate. The bigger the fork is, the bigger the dent. So they're satisfying their hunger because of the food consumption they think they're making. And then in turn, and as a result, diners with smaller forks consume much more of their food, trying to satisfy their hunger. And then, by that logic, it is also easy to apply to how the bigger the food portion, the more food you eat if you have a smaller fork, and the same amount of portion with a bigger fork, the less amount of the food you'll eat. So, next time you go eating, take notice on what size your fork is. Maybe you'll eat less, maybe you won't.